Welcome. Welcome, Tiffany. Shannon, are you there? Marie, are you
there? Yes, you're big.
Brian, Tony, Theta, Kevin. Brian, we can't see you. We see, I don't. Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get this thing to work. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera.
Okay. Hey, Ryan, did you get started with Daniel yet?
Start tomorrow.
Okay, good. So, hey, Shannon. Welcome.
I'm just finishing up my lunch and then I'll put my video back on.
Yeah, that works fine. I totally get it. Scott, hey, welcome. Okay, everybody, make sure that everyone can see. And Abby, if you're okay, I'm going start.
Yeah.
And share my screen because we have very limited time together today. So some of you are already with Atticus, some of you are new to Atticus. So let me run through a couple of introductions. The first thing, if you would, go ahead and put yourself on mute. It's a quick call, 30 minutes. So there probably won't be a lot of give and take. I'm going to make sure that I go through quite a bit here. But we're going to be talking about how good attorneys become great rainmakers. And so those of you that don't know me, my name is Mark Powers and I'm the president of Atticus. I've been working with solo small firms the last 30 years. I personally coach some of the top players and I've co-authored 4 books, and what we call them around the fundamentals. And these are the core foundational things. So Brian, in the practice growth program you're in, this is really what they're driving home for you. Fundamentals around marketing, time management, staffing, building a championship team, cash flow, and profitability. Also on the call with us are the member service directors, Denise Gomez and Terry Hayes. Some of you would know Denise. She's incredibly well-respected practice growth advisor, speaker, blog writer. Terry joined us in 2020 and she brings over a decade of growth experience. So if you're new to Atticus, please write down these names because I want this webinar to be powerful for you. And there's going to be some follow-up if you're not already a member of Atticus. Those of you that are already in Atticus have follow-up built in. So those of you that don't know Atticus, we've been around for well over 30 years. We only work with law firms, specialized solo small firm. And you can see our tagline, great practice, great life. That's truly what we're all about. Making sure that you can grow a great practice, but it's got to serve a great life. You want to make sure for this webinar, you want to take a lot of notes because I'm going to move quickly, especially if you're new. We'll get you these slides in some fashion, but it's much better if you take notes during the session. If I mention a document or something you want, go ahead and write it down and stay focused. Because if we have time, I'm going to ask you to post your 3 actions you'll take, or for accountability purposes, I'll have Denise or Terry follow up with you. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about referral marketing. Is it still the most effective form of marketing? I'll give you the shortcut at that right now. It's yes. Are you a good marketer? And how would you know if you are? How do I use a referral development system? And I love the word system there. That's exactly what you want to make sure you're paying attention to. And how do I get new business now over the next 90 days? So how do I use this webinar to get business right away? So one of the things I will tell you when I talk about being a good marketer, most of you, not most of you, some of you on this call have done something called a practice growth diagnostic. So if you don't know what that is, or you've never done one, write that down, practice growth diagnostic. I'll give you an option. I'll talk about that later on, but it's something that you're going to want to, I would highly recommend. So we asked the question, is referral marketing still the most effective form of marketing? And the answer is yes. You know, the internet and the social media are becoming more powerful players, but they're certainly not as successful as referral marketing. And you're never going to be able to tweak yourself into a truly successful practice. So when I think of referral marketing, why do I want clients that come from referral marketing? The value per case is higher. There's less acquisition cost over time. It's really not that expensive. There's not a lot of sales involved or convincing people, because when you're referred in, they're already pre-sold. The referral sources are in our, I tend to think of marketing, when you hear me talk about it, like an investment. And referral sources are an endless annuity. They just keep on giving and giving as long as you care for them. The other thing I love about referral marketing, if you're good at it, it becomes difficult to unseat you as a player in the marketplace. So if you're an advertiser, I can out-advertise you. But if you're a great referral source, referral attorney, it's going to be hard to do that. And the other great thing I love about referral marketing, it has the 3 rebuttable presumptions. And that is, when someone refers you, the person coming in assumes already, because of the referral, that you're honest, you're fair, and you're competent. You would just have to prove different on all of those. So they already think that. So referral marketing is not necessarily easy. It's uncomfortable, and a lot of people resist it. And they resist it because they're not sure what to say, how to say it. They're uncomfortable. They don't know the basic, they don't have the basic skills. And they also don't want to be seen as sort of a pain in the butt salesman. So if anyone remembers Groundhog Day, they don't want to be seen like a Ned the Head Ryerson. Do you remember who that guy, Ned the Head in Groundhog Day? If you've seen the movie, you know who he is. And they don't want to do that. So the question you start to ask, though, am I a good marketer? And the answer is, I don't know. At least I don't know right now. You can self-diagnose yourself on this call. So I'll be walking you through a referral development process or system, and you can diagnose whether you are or not. But I'll give you a couple of hints. If you're stressed out about business not coming in the door, you're probably not a good referral marketer. If you don't have a lot of very good referrals coming into the office, it's probably the same thing. You're not a great referral marketer. Usually, if you're not a good referral marketer, your average fee starts low. It becomes low because there's no way to increase it. When I look at successful law firms, one of the markers, like a doctor would look at you in your biometrics, I look and see if your average fee is going up over time. So if the practice is stagnant and you're not getting any traction, if you don't have any marketing events planned out on your calendar on a weekly basis, or if you can't identify a system or a process or a series of habits that you have, you're probably not a successful marketer right now. By the way, that's the other reason I'd recommend to do the diagnostic. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run you through the system, and you might jot this down. I'm not going to, this circle keep coming up, but you want to know who to talk to, what to say, how and when, tracking accountability. I can diagnose someone's marketing process very quickly, because if they don't know who to talk to, I know they're not marketing. Or if they know who to talk to and they don't know what to say, I know they're not marketing. Or if they know who to talk to, they know what to say, but they don't have a time scheduled for it and know what to, when they're out there, they don't know when to do it, then they're probably not being successful. So there's a lot of things that you can track very, very quickly. This process for all of us is something that you want to master. My mantra, if you've ever heard me speak on marketing before, is that we can never, ever, ever, ever stop marketing. It just does not work to stop marketing. And this system is one of the things you want to master and get good at. So I said the first thing is we have to know who to talk to. So eventually, I'm going to give you a number, is that you need at least, as a baseline, you need to develop 20 good referral sources that send you at least 2 clients or 2 matters a year. So 20 good referral sources that send you at least 2 good matters a year. That's a baseline. Now, I'll talk more about this later, but that's what you've got to start thinking about. And the places that the categories of who you want to market to and talk to are existing clients, current referral sources and their connections, and client connections for that matter, right? Their CPAs, financial advisors, their colleagues. The other great source for you, regardless of your practice area, is other attorneys. It's just a very powerful one. Professionals that serve your client base. And this is surprisingly important and overlooked. I get to look into a lot of law firms, especially over the years. And I see that sometimes they get most of the business from clients. Sometimes they get it from other attorneys, and sometimes they get it from family and friends. The only difference is where they're putting their focus and their intention. So it's good eventually to know your categories: attorneys, doctors, CPAs, financial advisors, health professionals, whatever those categories are. But you're going to have to get specific with names in each of those categories to build it. And what you're trying to do, remember I said this is like an investment. You want to start thinking about it like a portfolio, and not all referral sources are created equal, right? So if you have 100 referral sources in general in your community, we'll call the top 20%, in this case, that number would be 20, is your top 20. And even if you have 40 people in it, we still keep it your top 20 because it's top 20%. But they're your all-stars, and you need to keep building this and working on this. If you're in the Atticus community, maybe not, Brian, and Ryan, we may not do this to you at the base level, but when you get more advanced, we're trying to get you to get 100 good, strong referral source. So your top 20 becomes 100 people that can send at least 2 matters a year, and you'll be killing it, killing it, killing it. The next 10% are your on deck in your referral portfolio. These are people that we're developing and upgrading, and we're spending more time with the top 20. You have limited amount of time, right? So we want to spend the greater amount of time with our top 20 and our on deck people. And then the rest of your referral community, we call a farm team, because it's a great metaphor. We're farming them to be great referral sources. So these are people that send you 1, 2, sporadically send you referrals. And what we want to do is put them on a TOMA, or a top of mind awareness system or process. So I know I'm going fast, but these are the critical elements, and it's an overview. I'm going to ask either Terry or Denise or Abby to put this into the chat box or send it later. But you want to eventually do your top 20, this is called the top 20 exercise. You want to list out as many people as you can that you consider your best referral sources. Some of you are going to come up with 3 names. Some of you are going to come up with 5. Some of you are going to come up with 15 or 20. But then we want to say, what's the potential of those referral sources sending me business? And how much of that potential am I actually getting? So I'm looking right here. And then another important question is, what's my rapport level with them? Is it high or low? And what you'll see that's astonishing to most people that go through this exercise was, what's the last time I had a purposeful contact with them to build relationship and rapport? And they're often very astonished at how long that's been. And the type of category, it's really, are they attorney, CPA, doctor, health professional, those sort of things. Valuable, valuable exercise to go through. We're not going to do it here. Ryan, those of you that are in a coaching program, you're absolutely going to go through this exercise. I can assure you that your coaches are going to run you through it. The purpose that when we have all of these people, and I would write this down, it's know, like, and that should be comma, know, like, and trust. That's what we're trying to build with our referral source. But the only way you can do that is get to know them. Not so much them knowing you as you getting to know more about them, making connections and cultivating that relationship. We'll talk more about that, but that's where you're going with these relationships. I need a good portfolio of referrals, people in my network, and I've got to constantly build that. That's a skill. But then if I've got that, I've got to get good at knowing what to say to them when I do connect them. So this is part of an effective referral marketing system. And there's 7 strategic, simple conversations to work on. These are sort of the muscles you want to build. And again, I can't go through all of these. I will tell you, number 7 is your most powerful, and it's the thing that scares people the most. Getting good at asking for referrals will generate more business than anything else. But it takes a little while, and it takes, but not everybody gets comfortable there. So I can't talk about all of these. I'm going to give you one because I'm going to give you some homework on it. And that's the strategic interview. I'm going to talk about that for a second. The strategic interview is something that's simple to do. It gets a lot of feedback. It can generate business very quickly. And it's built around great questions because they built great results. So at least in the Atticus systems, whether you're in the book or you're in a program, there's scripts for this. And you're going to want to be patient. This is a powerful process. The first thing you have to do is take those people that are in your referral network and you have to invite them to something. I don't care if it's a lunch, a breakfast, a coffee, out to dinner, something. And in the process, you're going to use acknowledgement. So Brian, one of the things I've always respected about you is your commitment to growth, your commitment to grow your practice and your coachability. And the reason I want to get together is I am committed to being the best that I can be, the best PI practice, best estate planning practice, best family law practice. And I want to get your opinion on a couple of things. I want to see if I can get your thinking on growing my practice and how I can make it better. So I'd like to go to lunch, dinner, and you clarify a time and then you thank them. So the first step is an interview, is to invite them, and then face-to-face. So hopefully most of you are in a position where you can do face-to-face now. We're not post-COVID, but we're post-ish COVID, and you can start to get a little bit more face-to-face, one-on-one with people. This can be done over Zoom, but it's better one-on-one. Again, when I get back together with them, I acknowledge them for something I like, respect, admire, and look authentically for what you like, respect, admire about them. Tell them why we're getting together, and then be prepared to ask a series of questions about them. There is no need to be going here and talking about yourself. I know we think that's what we're supposed to do. Really, if we want to do this process right, we want to be talking about them. So ask questions, and I'll give you some questions, but make sure you're listening, you're modeling back what they're mirroring back what they're saying, and clarification. There are a couple of crucial questions, and then finish with an acknowledgement. You want to let your inner Barbara Walters come out and make sure you send them a note when you're all done. So here are the crucial questions. And they are, what are your biggest frustrations when you're dealing with lawyers? What problems have you had in the past that keeps you from using or referring lawyers? And what would you say is an outstanding service And what would it look like if a lawyer was delivering that to you? So it's just simple, basic questions. You do not have to talk about yourself. Get them talking. Now, if you listen closely, what they're going to do is they're going to give you marketing gold. They just told you how to get more business from them. They gave you the key to the referral success. And the more you understand about their frustrations, the more that you can solve their problems, you're going to be fine. Don't forget to follow up. So these are the types of things they're going to talk about. Try to stay focused. Don't get distracted. If you've done some of these things and they might be talking about you, do not get defensive. Just mirror it back. So there's 7 conversations. This one is, I'm going over like in 2 minutes what I'd spend probably 2 hours on, and probably give you some directed implementation, actually have you work on it. But the next step, when we know what to say, is how are we going to do it and when are we going to say all of these things? So we want to have legitimate reasons for getting together. You'll want to prepare yourself with a script. Now, listen, I don't mean writing everything out, but quite frankly, if you go to the courthouse or meet on a substantive issue, you're going to be prepared. You should be no less prepared going into these conversations. So how and when is not very difficult. It should be on the phone, in the office, at a coffee shop, lunch, dinner, breakfast. You can do advisory boards, speaking engagements, sporting events, charitable events. There's no shortage of things you can do. But here's the key. You have to find things that you like to do and invite people to participate or learn to like them. I don't care if it's golf or sports or tennis or whatever it is, watching them or participating. Your marketing will collapse if you're not doing activities that you enjoy doing. So be prepared, pick some events. I'm going to give you some numbers. Once again, I think of this like an investment, right? We want a return on investment from the time we're spending working with these people. So what we traditionally see is a line like this on growth for law firms and attorneys. And this is when they're doing 1 or less. And quite frankly, the vast majority of your competitors are doing 1 or less marketing activities a week. And if they do it like this, you're going to see marginal growth. You're going to see inconsistent. You're going to see sporadic returns. But if you can do at least and get yourself in a series of habits and a system of getting 3 referral marketing actions every week, at least on average, you're going to see consistent increase in referrals and revenues. Now, what happens is it's like planting a seed. It takes a little while. It looks like it's following this other line, but after a little while, the fruit takes hold and you start to see exponential growth. And that's what's going to happen. But you've got to be patient with it. And you've got to water the plants here, right? That means you've got to give TOMA top of mind awareness and pay attention to it. So the marketing numbers that you want to pay attention to are, I want to increase my number of referral sources to a minimum of what? 20 good referral sources that can send me how many cases a year? A minimum of 2. Then I need to increase the number of marketing activities, times I contact, have a purposeful marketing connection. We're building rapport, know. I need a minimum of 3 per week. If I do that, these numbers add up to a formula. You're going to see your gross revenues go up. Do nothing, and your gross revenues are going to stay the same. Abby, how am I doing on time?
We have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, so I'm gonna say a couple of things because I could spend a day with you on this. However, the reason a lot of you can't do this is that your day looks like this. It looks like this jar of candy. It's filled with to-do lists, staff issues, clients with a one quick question they're never going to pay for, and it's a struggle. You're going to have to really, to grow your practice and to market, we've got to get your time management under control and your focus under control. We need to make room in your day so that you can strategize and do this marketing. So this is critical for you. If you don't get this under control, attorneys come to us for marketing, and what they find out we spend time with them on is time management and focus. Why? If they can't do this first, they can't get the other things done.
Marketing webinar.
So who's ever saying marketing webinar, we can hear you. Tracking, I'm not going to say a lot about tracking right now, just that you'll want some people need to do it by paper first. And I want to be able to track and keep intelligence, not only the number of marketing activities, but I don't have the best memory, but I have a great system for remembering birthdays, anniversaries, spouses' names, children's names, universities, hobbies, those sort of things. And that's what we're going to need in our tracking system. And eventually, because most people are uncomfortable with marketing, their personalities don't seem necessarily drawn to it, they need accountability. And that's sort of the final straw in this system. They need, this is in the Atticus system. We know that unless you know why you're marketing and you don't have a compelling reason, I don't care if anything you need in life, you've got to be compelled to have it, a big goal and why, but there's got to be accountability and follow-up because these are changes and they're not easy to do. And then we need strategy and we need some coaching and we need guidance. And this is what most people need. So I want to get you to, that's through the system, but I want to get you to getting business in the door over the next 90 days. I do not want this webinar, even if it's only a half hour, not to provide fruit for you. So I'm not going to leave you here. I'm going to give you a bit of homework, and then I'm going to ask Terry or I'm going to ask Denise to follow up with you and see if you have taken some actions. Now, if you're in a coaching program, I won't worry about this, but if you're not, I'm going to follow up. I don't want this to be the think about it webinar that you went to, right? So here's what you're going to do. List out 10 people in your referral community, and I want you to schedule at least one interview over the next 10 weeks, one every week. And I can assure you that you, without asking for business, you're going to walk away with some business. The other thing that I'm going to tell you to do is homework. Get a practice growth diagnostic. It is crucial to getting success. So it's not inexpensive to do. So if you're already in Atticus, you've done it. If you're not, it's $295. If you don't get value from it, I'm not worried about it. We'll refund the money because it's crazy value. But they're going to look at your behavioral profile, which is your DISC. They're going to look at an assessment of all 4 areas in your practice, especially marketing. And they're going to give you some strategies, suggestions, and let you know what probably the 3 most impactful actions you can do. Last thing I'll say, it's not inexpensive. So if you're not already part of Atticus, because if you're Atticus, you've got this book and you should have already read it or be reading it. If you register by the end of the day and do a practice growth diagnostic, I'll send you a copy of How Good Attorneys Become Great Rainmakers. And it's really the best-selling book that you've seen on marketing, and it's in Atticus and you can have it. But that's what's going to be required. So listen, I took you through this process very, very quickly. It's not the best 10 things you could do, but it was the foundational stuff that all of us need to be thinking about if we're going to be great rainmakers. Abby, I don't know if I have it, but I'd be happy to take questions and answers if we had time for it.
Yeah, if anybody has a question, you can put it in the chat box, or you can just let Mark know and we can answer any questions that you may have.
And it's okay if you don't. It's a half-hour call. It was not designed to be deep. I'm not hearing a lot of people jump up with questions, Abby. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, let's let people get to work and get to marketing, okay?
Okay, and one last thing, Tony asked if the PowerPoints will be shared, and they will be shared. I will be sending out an email, or Denise and Terry will pass them along as well. So you guys will be receiving the slides, also a copy of the video and the worksheets as well.
So this is a sprint, y'all, and I recommend reading the book and doing a diagnostic if you want to get your marketing to another level. I hope it's helpful. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.